Everybody. So you're not your screen is not broken. You're only seeing one of us. Uh, Chris is out searching for some card stores to find in the Caribbean. I believe he's maybe even doing some player scouting. But so for now, it's just me. We're having a special guest on tonight, but I'm having some technical difficulties as I may have had in the past. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can get him to join us. If not, we've got a lot to talk about. Um, Hopefully, we're going to talk about Bowman Draft, which is the next big upcoming product and one of the biggest product releases of the year. We can also talk about the recent Hall of Fame ballot that's been released. It's kind of creating a lot of consternation amongst old old heads and new heads alike. So yeah, we'll get into that to talk about. And let me see if I can send, just in case, I can send another invite. Well, all right, just bear with me. Hopefully, we'll get here. But thank you for joining another Thursday night edition. Sorry we missed you last week, but it was Thanksgiving, so we had Thanksgiving plans. Good evening, JV. Hopefully, you guys had a good time with your friends. Oh, it looks like this might actually work. Hold on, everybody. Hold on to your helmets. Hey, we got you, except.
Wrong way. You want me to go this way?
I guess so. Sorry.
No worries.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Philmington to the channel. Man who goes by just one name. Just like Ichiro, we call him Philmington. Thanks for joining. Sorry for the technical difficulty. YouTube does not make this easy trying to get people together. But welcome. Thanks for coming on. How are you this evening?
Doing well. Doing well.
I think a lot of people who watch this will know who you are, but for those handful that don't, you want to just tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. As Jeff said, Philmington. My name is Phil, and I'm from Wilmington. That's how I came up with the name. And I've been doing this YouTube thing for a little over 5 years. I think I started in like October of 2018. That is when I officially got back into the hobby. Like everybody else, I collected in the 90s when I was a kid, but I got back to the hobby officially in like 2014. In and out, speculating on certain guys, made mistakes, bought the wrong cards, got burnt on Jose Fernandez and other pitchers, and Bowman Platinum and GMA slabs, and then in 2018, I was inspired by Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna, and I was not able to snatch those guys up in my fantasy baseball league, so I decided to buy some Bowman Chrome autographs of them. And then I joined YouTube shortly after. I was a listener for probably about a month. Silver Jackify, if you guys know who he is, I actually entered his giveaway, or he was doing some trivia on like a Friday night, and I actually won back-to-back prizes on his channel. And at the time, I had 50 subscribers, and he didn't believe me that I had my own channel. And now he's one of my top subscribers of my Rookie Card Explosion Box product. It's a sports card pack subscription product, and we're going on volume 60. So that's 5 years.
Wow.
Massachusetts, Allen. Yeah, there's a lot of Wilmingtons, Rhode Island, Delaware, and others. But I'm in Massachusetts. North Carolina's got one.
Well, that is quite the journey. It's funny that you mentioned the dates because I didn't get back into the hobby until like late 2017, and right around that time, the product that we're going to talk about tonight, Bowman Draft, was coming out, and it was really cool for somebody like me who was big into fantasy baseball, but I hadn't collected in years. And when I last collected in the early 90s, there wasn't any such thing really as prospect cards or minor league cards. There were some just kind of offshoot sets for minor leaguers, but nothing you could really sink your teeth into. So that really became my favorite set. And quickly, 2017, I posted today on Instagram about Brendan McKay. He was the cover boy then, and just the idea that you could get these young players or get access to their cards early, sort of invest in them. I thought it was a really cool idea. Subsequently, the prices continued to go up, and every year it's still been my favorite product to open. But now I open less and less, and this year I may not even open a box. So I have to get some insight from you about that. But I do have to say that last year I opened the box and I got my favorite pull ever, which was this Jackson Churio rookie auto. And as a big Brewer fan, it was a huge, huge pull. So I was very pleased with that.
That's from Bowman Chrome though, not Bowman Draft, but right.
You're right. It was a Bowman Chrome box. You know what? That makes sense because Chris and I each bought a box of that, so that makes sense. So that was not. He's not into the draft, so yes, you're right. All right. Well, it's still the last decent Bowman pull I got.
I mean, last year they came out like 3 weeks apart, so close enough.
Yeah, but about this year, now there's a lot of talk about $80 million man. Yes, Jorge, it's a huge deal for the Brewers. A lot of talk about that. Kind of the only way, in my opinion, that a small market team can even compete is to sign players early. So it could be a risk. Oh yeah, look at that.
I got one too. Just listed it on eBay today.
Did
Trying
you
to take
listed it on
advantage of
eBay?
Yeah,
Because the mega deal.
yeah. Trying to see if I can get a little
Yeah.
profit. If not, then I'll wait. I'll wait till February or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some Brewer fans out hunting for that. It's not that much money when you consider what they're already paying some of the players on their payroll, what they've paid in the past.
It kind of shows you like these deals seem like no brainers, but these organizations know what they're doing. They know the leverage they have. The players know the leverage they have. It just reminds you like all of these guys are just like ticking time bombs. Like the chance of failure is just so high.
Right.
Um, and I think one of my flaws with the decision making process in investing in Wander was thinking that the Rays could do no wrong, and that if they were gonna if they were gonna shell out that kind of money, like that organization that's so stingy, one of the most stingy organizations in baseball, then like they'd have to be right about Wanda, right? So like the character flaw sort of warnings that we saw, I was like, it made me overlook them. I was thinking about that today actually. I'm like, it's Tampa. That's my problem. If it was any other team, I'd be like, can't trust this guy. I had people warning me about his Instagram posts like a year ago about
Did
how
you
he's
really?
like, one guy did, and he called him really, really immature. Which to say that, considering his age, it would have to be pretty egregious. I thought, like whatever posts he was making, but I never really checked them out. I was like, I'm not really interested. He'll just do his thing, and players have neck tattoos these days. Like Ronald Acuna does. He's successful. Like you can't really judge people based on that. So I don't know, but the off the field stuff certainly matters.
Wow. Well, so you were that close to actually maybe getting out of Wander before the news broke.
I wouldn't say I was close. I'd say I just overlooked somebody's
Just
sign, and
passive.
it was just it wasn't like a direct signal to me, but it did get me thinking, and then I just kind of stopped thinking about it. So
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing with Bowman Draft. A lot of these guys are 17, 18, 19 years old, pretty young. I don't follow Franco. What were the signs early on? Well, Phil just mentioned a couple Instagram posts he had heard about.
yeah, so because I didn't actually see them, what I will say is, and this is why I didn't want to go into the detail, but the guy told me that he's acting like he's a virgin, which is actually really strange considering what he got allegedly caught for, what the allegations are for. So I don't know what that means. I didn't look into the pictures, but you've got certain athletes like Luis Robert, probably J Rod, they've taken pictures on like really high end vehicles. Like it would probably have to be a beyond like that and something else. And then clearly there's other stuff too. Like he got his jewelry stolen from his car. Um, but I mean, a lot of guys travel with really flashy high end jewelry. So not getting along with his teammates. I think even
Yes,
Red Rosarena got into a fight, right? Or
I
almost
was
did.
going to say there were some not necessarily on the field, but maybe in the clubhouse issues. He even got suspended for a couple days, couple games, I believe, because of some of the activities. So yeah, but then again, that happens with a lot of young players. So you can't just paint them all with a broad brush. But especially being so young, with the majority of the players, especially the expensive players in these products, in this product in particular, you're putting a lot of faith into the player and in some cases the team. Like you said, you think Tampa Bay, they'd be responsible with their $300 million. Yeah.
Exactly.
So for this year's product, I was looking at the price points because they keep seeming to tick up. So the last I saw was 560 on blowout and I want to say 750 for jumbo. Does that sound right? Sound what you're hearing?
Yeah, I think so. So we had a chance. Tops had these available. Was it last week or the week before for $480 for a jumbo, $650 for a super jumbo, and then you'd get a reduced price if you bought by the case, which is interesting. So in years past, we go back like 2 years, Topps website wouldn't even sell sealed cases. So it's kind of cool that you can get it, but at a discounted price. Then you start to wonder, like, okay, was there like a serious print run jump this year? But another thing to be worried about, like the first thing that jumped out for a lot of people was that the price increase for jumbos was about 20% versus last year. So Fanatics made they increased last year. So last year, the factory cost for Bowman Draft Jumbos for 2022 was $367. And that was up a lot from the year before. I think it was in the 200s the year before that.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, like, we just talked about, well, like, why hobby boxes are expensive on the Spitballin' podcast. And if we really want to break down all the factors, Fanatics, they're at fault too for this. And at first, I think a lot of people were misled into thinking, like, oh, well, they're just going to cut out the middleman and it's going to be cheaper for end consumers to buy product.
I heard that a lot.
Well, I don't hear anybody saying that anymore. That that call is gone, and that logic didn't really work out. But this year, 20% increase. I forget what the factory cost is, but that whole factory cost point. If you're buying it as like a shop or a breaker, and if that's like the lowest price you're getting it for, you're going to try to mark it up a certain percentage. Maybe not your normal percentage, but you're going to want to build in some margin for yourself. So whether you want to call it artificially or supply and demand, at least at the onset of the release, first like week or two, you're going to see prices be a little bit higher because of that factory cost, maybe even longer. Maybe this affects the prices for 6 to 12 months. I'm not sure. So I think what Fanatics is doing is they're capitalizing on a product that is the most successful, in my opinion, release of the year for Topps, specifically Bowman Draft. Of the three major releases, Bowman Draft, I think, is the strongest product. And I think at this point, like if you really want to simplify things, it's going to be the most popular product of the year for people that are interested in opening product, whether that be personal breaks or whether that be group breaks. And it's probably the last remaining product that people are willing to buy as an investment to stash for a year or longer with any sort of conviction. So you've got people last year in 2022 that got burnt on Topps Chrome, maybe pre-ordered a bunch of Topps Chrome hobby boxes thinking that they were a solid investment if they held them sealed. Solid checklist is going to have J-Ride in it probably
Yeah.
and Wit, and that just was a complete disaster. So maybe this year, that's just one more product or one more major release that they're not even thinking about holding sealed. And it's kind of directing their wallet to, well, Bowman Draft always seems pretty safe. You could say that about Bowman and Bowman Chrome to a lesser extent. But Bowman Draft each year, I mean, there's a reason why it never gets delayed past mid December, really. And it's because it's an event. Like the whole hobby stops paying attention to all other products for like 2 to 3 weeks. And they open it and they share their hits, and it's cool because there's more prospects in this product versus the other Bowman releases because it's literally all draft guys, right? So getting a lot of guys with buzz. So I feel very strongly about the product from a standpoint of, like, people are going to want to open it, and if they can't afford a box, a lot of people are going to open breaks, but a lot of people are opening single boxes too. Again, it's like one of the last products that's like $500 that people will shell out money for to open for themselves. And again, like, to invest, in a product, like this is probably top of the list. Now that's like not factoring in the checklist. So here's another potential warning. With the checklist, they usually hold out the number 2 guy in the draft. And
Right.
unfortunately this year, the guy that got picked number 1, it looked like it was like 50-50 for a while. But Paul Skeens, the pitcher, he's a 6'6", 235-pounder right-hand pitcher from LSU. So he's going to be nasty, and he's like one of the best pitching prospects in a very long time. But he's a pitcher, and we know how the hobby feels about pitchers, and they're just more likely to bust or get injured, where their career is just derailed. So the guy that was held out was the guy that could have went number 1. He went number 2. That's Dylan Cruz,
His teammate. Yeah.
Yep, teammate at LSU, and 21.75 years old, 156 plate appearances this year between A and AA. And he is with the Nationals, and he's expected to be quite good. Some power, some speed. He's an outfielder. So him being held out, the other notables that were held out were the number 5 pick overall, another outfielder named Walter Jenkins, and then this guy, Nolan Shanuel. Angels organization. He actually got called up to the big leagues this year. Big body, big frame. I think left-handed first baseman. More walks than strikeouts. 132 plate appearances. He had a 402 OBP. He might have had like a 400 plus or a 350 plus OBP at every level. Like he got escalated fast. He escalated fast through the system, and he'll probably grow into more power.
And he's also not in this release.
Yeah, he's not in this release. So he was number 11, and that's a 402 OBP with the Angels, actually 132 plate appearances. Damn, so quite good. So the players that it does have. So here's the thing. Like this is why I don't go crazy about if you ask me who else is interesting aside from some of the names I mentioned, which will be like 7 names. I don't really care that much because from my perspective, there's always a guy that there's guys that bubble to the top and guys that fade. And there's enough top end guys to make this product interesting. And again, just the name itself, Bowman Draft, is going to make people want to open it. In reality, a lot of people are going to get fed up because there's a lot of pitchers in Bowman Draft. So that's the downside. So you get a whole lot of first Bowmans, but you're getting a lot of pitchers too. Versus with Bowman Chrome, you're getting international guys. You're not getting as many first prospects, but at least you're getting a higher share of hitters versus pitchers. So there's going to be people that open a jumbo box and get 3 pitcher autographs, and maybe all 3 are base. I think somebody on Blowout said that he thinks there's around 11,000 jumbo cases this year. I don't know how that relates to last year. Generally, you're looking at a 5 to 20% print run jump from one year to the next. But they do have a SKU this year that's different, sort of like a Breaker's Delight. It's an HTA.
Oh, okay.
And that's where things could get ugly with pulling. Your only hits basically are pitchers, so you don't quite have the same floor as being able to pull non-autograph stuff and the jumbos, and those right now are priced over $400. So from an investment standpoint, a lot of people like Bowman Draft because it's one of the very few products still that consistently goes up 3 weeks after release. Usually the hype fades on a product, which it will with draft. It'll just take a little bit longer. And then the product kind of tumbles down a little bit with that. I'd say 3 out of 4, 75% of the time. But almost always with Bowman Draft, that product goes up after at least pre-sale prices. Now here we're looking at release date prices, as you said, about $560. I don't like those prices anymore. I only bought 1 case of jumbo, and it was $480 after tax. I wanted, $480 each. I thought the price was okay. I was hoping for $450. I was thinking it might be $500. It ended up being $475 or $480, but then it was discounted for the case price. So I was able to get in at about $480. I think that's what it ended up being. So when that included sales tax, I bought a couple super jumbos. Those cases went in about 10 minutes. on the Topps website. Those were really attractive. I wasn't able to add them to my cart on time, and with my subscription product, I don't have really much of a need for super jumbo packs. That's why I was sort of reticent, and I wasn't able to pull the trigger. But I've got one case of jumbos, and like I said, two super jumbo boxes.
Yeah, I wanted to correct what I said earlier on the price for the super jumbos. They are actually 790 is the current pre-sale on Blowout now. So yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, you could have got them. I think the cheapest they were around like 630 for the case price, and that includes 6 super jumbos at 630. And for single boxes, they were 650. And then on Blowout the next day, they're actually comparably priced until those sold out. And I think the super jumbos went first again. Like if you think about it, like if you're really just basing this all off like all the values coming from the autograph, which isn't the case, but if that was the case, then a super jumbo has 5 versus 3 autographs and regular jumbos. So you'd like multiply what you pay for the jumbo by 1.67. But that's not how the pricing works. Or like long terms, that's not how it works. It's usually closer to like 30% or at most 50% premium versus like the full 67%. So I don't know. Knowing that for whatever reason, super jumbos just aren't people's favorites. I think this year somebody was saying that they're at like 3,300 cases that they made versus again like close to 11,000 jumbo cases. So they're just not as popular. But anyways, yeah, yeah,
But you're saying they've been the most popular to go both times you've seen them available.
yeah, I think they were priced pretty well, 650. So if you look at like last year's Bowman Draft Jumbo, um, Jackson Holiday, and just like big drop off after him with regards to like who's really holding up that product. I think Bowman Draft Jumbos from last year are 600. So to pay a little bit more than that to get a super jumbo from this year, and then the kicker is the Tom Brady thing. We haven't talked about that yet, but
Let's get into that.
that even though these are like contrived marketing gimmicks at the end of the day, that in itself, unlike the Babe Ruth, this is going to be autographed. I don't know. Maybe that will make it a little bit more special. And it's multiple cards, apparently, when I saw the checklist, which was released a few weeks ago. I was willing to overlook Dylan Cruz being withheld. Like, so last year, everybody freaked out because Drew Jones was being withheld, saying, like,
Right.
oh, he's got like the best ceiling in the class. Like, Jackson Holiday, he doesn't really have the flash. He's going to have to grow into the power. He doesn't really have what it takes to carry a product. Yeah, I'm sure like a few years prior to that, people thought that Torkelson was going to carry 2020 Bowman Draft. People thought that Andrew Vaughn might be able to carry 2019 Bowman Draft.
Yep.
But
Well,
this year,
you look at the covers of all of these.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you never really know. You never really know. And to me, there were enough guys that were still in it, even if it means only 13 of the top 22 picks, I think, made it. Like, I think they withheld 9, and I think a few of the guys that withheld are actually like pretty big power guys. The guys that stand out that are in it, because we talk about who's out. We talk about Paul Skeens, Max Clark, number 3 overall, Tigers, left-handed hitter, outfielder. He struggled a bit in single A, but small sample size, and his walk rate was high. And then Wyatt Langford, this guy could be interesting. So Wyatt Langford, number 4 overall, 22 years old. He's on the Rangers or in their system, and he hit 330 plus at each level in the minors in 2023. He only made it up to double A. Good K to walk ratio, which we love to see.
Mm-hmm.
9 home runs and 10 steals and under 200 plate appearances in the minors. And I didn't count the complex league. I forget if he was in that. So Langford could be interesting. Again, he's number 4 overall.
Yeah.
So
So do you think
there's at least 3 guys that'll be buzzy, like really buzzy.
Yeah, when you look at the team breakdown, I've seen a few posts, early kind of break prices. It seems like the Tigers and the Rangers are right up there for price wise. Any other teams that stand out to you?
I don't know at this point.
Yeah.
What are the Pirates at, like, compared to the Tigers? Just curious, like half.
Good question.
because
Yeah.
he's a pitcher.
But you mentioned it before. Let's get into it. With the Tom Brady autos. I saw the one of the copies of it, of the gold version, where he writes on there that if baseball doesn't work out, there's always football. So he's even personalizing or kind of making some of these unique. I think it's going to be a huge hit. I think it's going to be a huge driver for people to open them. It sounds like there's just gold, orange, red, and the super. So 81 autographs. I know you said there's base cards as well, right?
Yeah.
Which would probably be a hit, but everybody's going to be going after those autos. I can't imagine what those would fetch.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's cool. They really hammered this one. I mean, they came through prepared, and it'll be interesting to see those inscriptions, like you said. And it kind of feels like a true minor league card, unlike the Babe Ruth first. Whether it's autographed or not, that's just kind of weird, right? He's been dead for a long time.
Yeah. And I mean, he was drafted, right? He was drafted by the Expos in '95. Was it '95? Was it out of high school he was drafted and he turned that down? I can't remember the specifics, but I've seen him in the Astros regalia. Hey, what's up? What's up, Teapot? Thanks for joining us. Phil is cheating on spitballing. Yeah. Actually, sorry, Teapot, but next coming up is Scott's going to join us, and then Chris. So hope you don't feel too left out. Davo, what's up? Yeah, so I don't know. How much do you think that knowing how limited those autographs are, how much do you think that will be a driver of the product?
I think the Tom Brady craze will replace 1 to 1.5 top 3 picks in draft. So I
Okay.
think it could be enough to offset almost entirely Dylan Cruz not being in there. Not quite, because the number one guy always does, it's not linear, right? He's always exponentially above the guys below him usually. But I think this could be good, and this could be cool, and this could attract potentially non-baseball guys to open the product. Part of the reason why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Cross-pollination, which we love. Should be interesting. Another thing I picked up on is the autograph subjects is down 1 from last year, but they can play
Down?
all
Did you
sorts of.
say
It's
down?
down one name, but they can play all sorts of games. Like they change the number of parallels, they could change the number of base
The number of base autos.
autographs per player. They stagger that, and I guess some of the pitchers only have a base autograph, which is cool. Like some of the crappy ones, I think I heard that, and they might not have the parallels that you get stuck with for the bad pitching prospects. Another thing I picked up on, so I looked at the parallels this year versus last year, and some people started to freak out that the true blue first Bowman Chrome autograph for prospects was missing from Bowman Chrome and Bowman this year,
Yeah.
thinking that they're just going to do away with it. And I was like, it was Scott that brought it up in a podcast, and I'm like, wait, 22 draft had them though. Like Jackson Holiday has true blue Bowman Chrome autos. So do you know they're going to remove them from draft? Because you'll have draft's a different product in my opinion. So they've got some of their own parallels that are unique to them. For the most part, the numbering schemas are the same across all 3, which is good. One of the things that makes baseball better than some of the other sports that Panini puts out. But so True Blue is in there. I don't see any changes with the refractor autographs other than Speckle is gone. So there might actually be 1 fewer.
I saw that there was no speckle, but I wasn't sure if I was just seeing an incomplete list.
Yeah. So I'll list those off. We got base refractor number to 499,
Right.
purple 250, aqua lava 199, blue 150, blue wave 150, green 99, black 75, jumbo exclusive, sparkle 71, gold 50, gold wave 50, orange to 25, jumbos only. A benefit to buying jumbos, regular jumbos. Red to 5, red lava to 5, which I believe they had last year. Red Wave to 5, which I think they had last year in draft. Superfractor 1 of 1. Printing plates 1 of 1.
So you did mention speckle though.
Wait, I did? No,
Yeah.
Sparkle.
Okay. Is that the one out of 71?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Speckle's out of $2.99.
Okay.
And it's kind of an annoying one. You can't really tell the difference through
the Sparkle
back
and Speckle.
Yeah.
And now, so last year they had the 3 versions. I only know the previous year they only had the 2, the Red and Red Wave. But I think Red Lava, is that what started last year? It didn't replace either of those.
Yeah. The Lava started last year with Draft, I believe, for the autographs. And looks like it's Aqua and Red. And man, all the products just get confusing. They might have debuted those in like Topps Chrome, or it could have been like the Bowman Draft light boxes. Speaking of which, I haven't heard about Bowman Draft First Edition, but I imagine that'll come out soon. That seems to be a flop. Like that's a product that has been getting hammered. If like you buy that at like release date pricing, you're getting smoked. Like it comes out similarly priced to the jumbo box, and it's worth like a third of it. If you
Yeah,
think.
I was into those at first, but I've skipped the last few releases just because it seemed like it was just a pit, a money pit. Hey, what's up, MJR? Speaking of things we haven't heard of, Lucky Peter mentions about a bounty. He thinks there's going to be a bounty for Brady. We haven't heard about any of these
Mm,
bounties yet. And I know you were talking about Drew Jones before. That was one of the first big bounties, right? In Bowman Chrome.
yeah, I think so. Unless, well, there were smaller bounties last year that were set by, was it Houdini? But that doesn't
Oh,
really count because those were like, those were bounties where like they'd make money off you if you sold to them. Some,
right.
not
Like a
always.
reverse
It's
bounty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way bounties kind of should be. Like, like
If you want to sell
appropriate,
it now to get
competitive
cash, you
prices.
can get
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly. Like now the bounties. I didn't even think about this. Like with the Topps Chrome update, MLB debut patches. Like if I hit the Volpe, I would go straight to DA Card World. I wouldn't shop it around. But I'm like, wait, no. There could be somebody willing to pay more than 150. Probably
I
wouldn't
think
compete
it's
with it.
funny you mentioned that. I think Neo was talking about that on his
Yeah,
last
right.
podcast too, just about how there could be some high rollers. We've talked about this on our show too, that may be the very best card of that individual player that will ever be made. So yeah, you find a Yankees collector with deep pockets, somebody who really wants that card, and who knows what you could get. So yeah, I initially was thinking that those prices seemed way higher than what they would get on the open market, but maybe that's just such a unique case. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, the Babe Ruth is pretty aggressive at like 200K plus, whatever that was,
Yeah.
200, 250. With Volpe, one last thing is like he's really well. He's still adored. He's adored by his fans in New York. Jordan Walker is probably just at most well liked by his fans in St. Louis. So I think if there was like a crazed fan, whale fan that wanted to make like an emotionally driven decision to outbid the bounty, knowing he has to, or she, then I think it would have to be Volpe. I don't think anybody would pay over 100K in this entire universe on Jordan Walker right now. But maybe he starts out hot. That's a thing. Like these bounties, they probably expire. The redemptions don't expire. The bounties will probably expire once Jordan Walker shows his true self again, or if there's like market fluctuations or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's interesting. You're right. The redemptions we know don't expire, but I didn't see any terms on the bounty, or will they drop the bounty? It eventually drops to 50,000 for Walker.
Yeah, I mean, like our whole theory is like if this isn't Fanatics inspired or like
Backed.
led or influenced, like I don't know how else they'd be doing this. GA Cardboard would be like there'd have to be some sort of kickback. But if assuming that Fanatics is involved in this, and if they sell their target number of hobby boxes for people chasing these things, and they're still not pulled, so say if like 50 to 70% of all these boxes are opened in a year, which they won't be, um, given the proliferation of print runs of all of the other products. But if that was the case, then yeah, I mean, like, why would you keep that bounty active? Like, you've already done what you wanted to. At this point, you might not have any left to sell. Like at this point, it's the guys you've sold it to that still have it. So
That did the Babe Ruth get pulled and redeemed?
I don't know actually.
I feel like I would have
I
heard
think
more
so.
about that.
I feel like I would have heard about it more if it hadn't been pulled, but and hobby boxes have come down a bit. But
200,000 for that is crazy.
I wonder how many of those two refractors have been claimed. Do you know anything about that? There's
Mm-mm.
like big ones left.
No.
Probably like 5 at this point. Like all you have to do is hit one of the 2 or 3.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Chris. Chris says, "Wow, Chris got better looking." Yes,
Oh,
that's
thanks.
uh,
He's not a bad looking guy. He's actually better looking than me, if you factor this in.
well. He's probably out tanning himself. He's going to come back with a nice tan to make us all look extra pale. Uh, so when you bought the pre-sales, did they have limits, or was I know you said you kind of got limited by time with your purchase of the super jumbos? Did they have limits in place on the other products or that product?
Yeah. The cases were limit of 1. I forget if it was per account, per customer, or per household, but it was
Yeah.
not household. It was either account or customer.
Okay.
So like when it says that, there's like a 50-50 chance you can get away with I've got like 5 tops accounts in case, they let me do it. But they're smart. All of my accounts are hooked up to my same shipping address. And usually when I try to, you know, bend the rules a little bit, they just refund all the orders like 2 weeks later. So it's like a interest-free loan they get on my money.
Do you still get one? Do you still get one of the products,
Yeah,
or did they
yeah,
cancel them?
that's the thing. So there's no risk other than getting your money tied up.
Yeah.
You'll still get at least one. You'll still get your max allotment. I think with cases it was 1, and with single boxes, I forget. Maybe with regular jumbos it might have been 4, and like super jumbos it might have been 2. I forget, but I think there was a cap with the singles too, and it was under 1 case worth if you're buying the single boxes. So
Interesting. Yeah. What is the release date on this?
So it's December 12th. So I assume we'll hear about the bounties like a week before release. Like that's when they'll start to pump it. So we've got probably another week or so till things start to get really crazy. I don't think we have pack odds yet, although I don't know how that guy was able to get the number of cases. So maybe those hit today. So usually with the pack odds, what you do is you just Google like tops pack odds, maybe, and then just like whatever the product is, and usually it'll come up in the Google search. They're pretty good about making that easily accessible, and it'll link you to like a tops PDF you just download. Um, so I don't know if anybody's done the math yet to compare it to last year's print run. So another change, probably one of the last things I'll bring up is another change from last year's product is they added some non-autographed refractors, lunars, lunars. So they have a fuchsia lunar refractor, number to 199, an aqua lunar crater refractor, number to 125. That's in addition to the aqua wave refractor.
I see a theme here. Very night sky.
Tops cosmic worked out, so let's do all these like space themes. Yeah.
So can you?
Uh,
How many
yellow
total are there?
lunar, yellow lunar. There's at least 3. Oh, 4 lunar glow refractor, 1 in every 12 jumbo packs. So it's just going to be another like worthless hit that you'll pull and feel pretty happy about until you realize there were like 16,000 made of each player.
So do we have? So what is the total number of parallels they've got there? Is it like 20 non-autographed parallels? I know that number has been creeping up for years, and
Yes.
now they're adding
Yeah, it's like 22 or
these
something.
lunar ones. Wow. And you said before, even if you do get the pack odds, there's no telling necessarily how many base autos of each individual player there are, or if they, like you said, if they're only giving base autos to some of the lesser players, which is nice. So if you pull a gold, it's not going to be a 28-year-old relief pitcher, maybe, but yeah, there's no way to know those individual figures, right?
Yep. Yeah, with that, you pay attention to eBay real close after the first like 3 days. You'll get actually a pretty strong sample of like who is short printed. Actually, maybe a week or two, because it's not like you're looking at a factor of like this one's 8 times more common than the other. It might be like 2 to 3
Okay.
times more
Yeah.
common than like some of the names that are short printed. So that could take maybe a week and a half to feel pretty confident about based on like eBay postings and stuff like that. But hey, I mean, this is like of any product that I'd buy into a group break for, which I haven't done a group break in probably like 10, 11 months. Um, this would be it for me. And maybe I'll even open a box. I don't know about you. You hold a lot of wax sealed. I clearly hold a lot of wax sealed.
Yeah, not in the same volume as you though. Are you talking about like holding on to those the 3 cases you bought sealed?
Oh, well, that was actually Bowman Chrome Sapphire, which we haven't talked about. A product that I felt even a little bit more strongly about based on the prices. So, but um, yeah,
How much are you gonna rip? I guess is my question. How much?
yeah. So I was gonna say my budget is like 2,000 a year, and I do a lot of that with my buddies. I don't even really collect, but they kind of like the rippings. We'll do
Yeah,
like a video, like we'll go away once a year, do guys trip, and half the guys think it's stupid. They make fun of us. The other half kind of like it and feel
sounds
nerdy
like
about it. Yeah,
good material.
yeah. So that's like half the money's there, and then the rest is like just me by myself. I just try to selectively pick stuff like that I feel will have like some sort of enjoyment factor, like a decent shot at least getting my money back. In Bowman Draft, maybe I'll do one jumbo. Um, I don't have any. They're on the other side, but yeah, Bowman Chrome Sapphire, $200 Montgomery Club, limit of one, and then 220 to the public. Now they're at about 260. They probably maxed out around like 280. Now they're coming back down. Um, that product I really like because of the image variations, which drove the product last year. Where it wasn't the first time they did image variations. I had to look back and check. I just don't remember them having image variations for rookies, but it's because they stepped up the photography with J Rod, Witt, some others too. And it drew a lot of attention, even in like the Bowman Chrome Facebook group. That group is more around like the traditional releases. Like
Hmm.
Sapphire to them, it's like, well, that's more of like a tops thing, even though it's covers all three Bowman products at this point too. But I think I think that really helped 22 Bowman Chrome Sapphire with the image variations, even for some of the prospect guys. And this year, the checklist is strong with prospects, with rookies, of course. You've got all the guys. With prospects, I believe it's got Holiday, image variation, Ellie, I believe, Ethan Solis, maybe not Ellie, but it's got a number of players. So I was pretty happy about that. And for the first time, I think ever, they put autographs in Bowman Chrome Sapphire. Usually those are reserved for Bowman Sapphire. That's a more expensive product, which comes out after Bowman in April or May. But yeah, Bowman Chrome Sapphire picked up, I don't know, close to like 3 cases.
Oh,
So
nice.
I might open up one of those. We'll see. And give the rest of my subscribers. I don't know if I'll hold any of that long term. Kind of. I don't know. We'll see. Only have so
So,
much room in the storage unit.
yeah, if you guys haven't seen Phil's storage unit, go to his YouTube page and check out. Was it your last video or the one before? A recent video.
Yeah,
He's in his storage facility that just looks like a pile of wax.
yeah. It's inventory, most of it for the subscription product that I do. All sealed packs that I put in those, not to be confused with like a traditional repack, which is mostly singles and slabs, stuff like that. But given the environment, like we don't have to go down a rabbit hole here, but like given the environment and how it's changed with like non-zero interest rates and collectibles being less, I don't know, desirable of an alternative asset or just an asset or investment overall, like they're kind of like this is probably one of the worst segments to be in right now because of interest rate levels. It's caused me to think of the wax as more of inventory than like an investment. Some of the stuff might end up going up in value. I'm sure some will, but when I'm buying now, I'm buying more for the intention of, okay, do I have a way to sell this? Will my customers take this product? And when can I sell this product? And how much of it do I need? Like, should I really be buying the full case when I only need like 8 boxes of it? So those are things I'm thinking of. Over the last few years, I've rotated more into, I had a lot of retail for a while, and I've slowly dripped that out to get away from it. That is not nearly as liquid, especially like 2-3 years down the line, especially for like the non-premium products. If anything, people are going to go for a hobby box, especially if the stuff's already taken a hit or a hobby box is under $100. Why would you buy a blaster for 10, 20, 15, whatever? And I've been moving more into Bowman. For a while, like during the boom, like Tops was really hot. Tops Chrome was
Tops
really
Chrome.
hot. Yeah, and I've positioned myself to have like stronger products, a lot of Bowman Draft Jumbos, and like just good years, being selective on sets, things like that.
Yeah, that brings me to a question I had. So you're the product that you have, it's the rookie card explosion box, right?
Yeah.
But do you put some prospect stuff in there? Because Bowman is really prospect heavy.
Yeah. I've called it the RC or rookie card explosion box, and I know that first Bowmans are generally what you're going to be seeking out. You don't get any rookie cards in draft, but of course, regular Bowman or Bowman Chrome you would. I've been marketing, so there's like a kind of like a checklist in each explosion box, and it'll tell you the top rookies to chase or prospects to chase. And I won't differentiate. Maybe I should put like a little superscript and put like first or pros or P versus RC. But I figured that would just be confusing. People would kind of know, like, well, if these are the top guys to chase, then I just need to find their card. I don't have to worry about it, whether it's a rookie card or first. But
Good point.
yeah, I mix it.
I think
I try to
right now
include.
it seems like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I try to include like 3 packs of Bowman on average per month. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think Bowman is such a hot product now, and it is so. I've always liked Bowman rookie cards, but they never really got the traction I thought they would. But Bowman first is still the top of the mountain, so that's fun to hear that you're including them because I know they're just hot.
Yep. Speaking of Bowman rookies, I picked up 4 20 blaster lots of 2018 Bowman.
Ooh.
Has the Ohtani rookie in it, and of course a rookie card autograph possibility. Probably only in the green you can pull in retail, but it's live. In that product with Bowman Chrome that year was Redemption, which is now expired, of course. So that's the pitching pose, and that's a product I really like, even though it's retail. So I'm just selective with retail. I'll still buy it. Like I've got like mega boxes from 2019 Bowman with Wander, but I've got a lot of like mega boxes of 2018 Topps Chrome update.
Oh yeah.
So I try to find all the good stuff, and it's got to be offered in packs that fit the price point. So like Dynasty, some of these products just don't work. Like Black Friday had a great deal, I thought, on 2019 Bowman Draft Sapphire, $300, and now it's back up to 500. It's probably worth like 350, 375 if like people were to like auction them on eBay. It was still a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was still a good price, but that product was offered in like a brick. It wasn't packs. So like I like the idea of it, and I really like the checklist because Corbin Carroll, Gunnar Henderson, Adley, Josh Young, like who's who of like the 2023 rookies, right? But I'll have to settle for just the draft jumbos for that set.
Yeah. So any other? Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you about because this is something I don't know a lot about. But there were some huge deals on Black Friday on some of the Japanese cards, and Chris and I often get asked on our channel, especially because we talk about Ohtani a lot, about Ohtani's 2013 rookies, NPB rookies, and we don't know a lot about it. So there's not much for us to say. But now it sounds like maybe with potentially more players getting posted, that there might be more interest in that. And I saw the price point seemed pretty crazy low. But again, I didn't know anything about it, so I stayed away.
The smartest thing to do would have been to stay away because, like I posted something on Instagram about how it was a no-brainer buy. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. But somebody then commented like, "Oh yeah, this is like a cure for high like wax prices. So I'll just buy this product of all these guys I haven't heard of and just hope for the best." Yeah, this solves everything. It's like that's a really strong point, and I liked his gave him a heart. Like so, like Blowout had like 4 or 5 different products, probably 5. 22 Bowman NPB, which stands for Nippon Professional Baseball, which is the first year they did Bowman, and there's first Bowmans in that are licensed. Then there's Topps Chrome they had from 2021 and 2022. Looking on eBay, you don't really see many sales of either of those. So it's just strange. It's like, wait, when did this product come out? Like, this is a 2021 product. Like, why aren't there many sales? And why are the sale prices so high? Why is Blowout the only company that has this right now, other than like, some Japanese sellers?
Yeah.
And why does DA Card World have they had like a buy on their buy list was the 2021 version, one of the products I picked up 5 cases of. They were trying to pick up that for 255 or 245 a box. Now I think they had a limit of 3. So like, but that was like a signal to me, like, okay, so the market does appreciate this probably more than it being like just $100 box, which is what they were on sale for. And then there were like 2 Topps products. There was just like Topps flagship from 2021 and 2022. And like those were like not priced too much differently than Topps Chrome. So I just avoided those. And then so I'm checking eBay to see like, okay, what have like the singles sold for? And like what's Yamamoto's best card? So Yamamoto itself it's like a hype factor I knew would be increasing in December. And I think we've seen it tick up this week. He's been in headlines a lot tied to the Yankees. So like I had a feeling that these news line, like we talk about hype a lot on spitballing, and sometimes you just have to find the right narrative, whether you're buying somebody that's proven or not. Like, what's going to be the impetus for their cards to go up? Yamamoto, he's a hype guy, and him getting signed by a big market team, him being a pitcher, and him being like, I hadn't heard this guy's name up till like a month ago. So like if I hadn't, then I know that a lot of other people don't know who he is. And even in that video, somebody asked me if it was like, I forget who he said, but asked like there's a Jordan Yamamoto, like a current MLB player or something. Like, is it, you're talking about this guy? Like, no, different player. So anyways, like I figured because Yamamoto doesn't have a first Bowman and 22 Bowman NPB, and there's actually not many desirable guys that do, which I found out later. I would stick with a year earlier and go with Topps Chrome, thinking that would be his preferred Japanese licensed rookie card. Now it's a little bit different from Otani because Otani had like a Ham Fighters card, but it wasn't a licensed card. It wasn't like officially licensed. It wasn't Topps, right? So this makes it have like a little bit more like sustainability. But I mean, these guys aren't Otani. Most of them are pitchers. They're not two-way players. They're just pitchers for the most part. But there's some other guys like Roki Sasaki. There are some hitters that have some potential. That's the key. It's potential. And people buy on potential, prices sustain on potential. And if some of these guys take 3 to 4 years to flame out, then the wax product has 3 to 4 years to fully flame out. So I just felt like near term, whether it's 1 month or 12 months down the line, this was probably a good price. Even if, see, going back to like blowout supply, like they could have had like 300 cases of each of these products. So that's the risk. So you have to be confident enough in like the demand side, and the changes of like the factors that affect demand in the future for this to be a draw. And I took this further and I asked my friend who opens a lot of wax, who opened a box, and we went through like the ROI at today's prices. Now today's prices also factor in like really low pop counts of these players. And like there's a Yamamoto base Bowman Chrome card that he pulled that he was selling these for $23. It's not a first. It's a base Bowman Chrome, Yamamoto pitcher, right? So some of this will go down. So like assuming that prices get cut in half over the next month, is this still a good buy? Will I still be able to, if I open a box, not that I will, but will people still open this because there will be some sort of like arbitrage opportunity? So even if people do buy the 200 cases of this product that are on blowout, maybe 60 of those get opened within the first like month, which helps me because it drives down supply. So that's why it matters. Like the ROI matters for the box, and is it an enjoyable rip? Like this product doesn't have autographs in it, which is another thing against it, but it doesn't have any non-traditional colors. Like it doesn't have gold waves. It doesn't have shimmers. It doesn't have speckles. It's like truly like the stuff that people want. And the fact that there's no autographs might make the non-autographs maybe more valuable, in my opinion.
Right, and that also kept the price point so far down, right? I mean, so it's not. It
Right.
seems like any product that they throw an autograph in, even if the majority are autographs that nobody wants, it two or three X's the product. So
Yeah. Yeah. The important thing here too is like just because Blowout sold out allegedly, which guess what? Of the 21 Top Scrum NPB, here's a little secret. It didn't sell out because one of my shipments was 8 boxes, 8 single boxes. Then I had another one that was 5 cases. The 8 boxes got lost after they sold out on their website. Guess what? They offered me the choice. Do you want the refund or do you want a replacement? What do you think I said? Oh, I want the replacement. See if you guys still have them, right? 'Cause to me, that that's good intel that they definitely have more, probably a
they
lot more. They probably didn't even sell out half their stock. Um, they do all these like sort of weird methods, like and like some of the stuff that they do a good job selling for Black Friday, or they don't sell at all. They'll like triple the price on it the next day. So it's like, so you sold it all for 50. So this is the case with Bowman NPB. So that was $50 a box. I bought like 5 cases of that too. That I don't feel as strongly about. And you can find it on eBay right now for under 70 bucks. But that's another one. I went through the whole process of like asking my friend, like, okay, what's in it? Is there value? Um, and like that box is now 150. Like they increased it like after Cyber Monday, it went up to like 75, and then it went up to 100, and then later that day it was like 150 a box. And it's like so your strategy is to sell everything you had available for sale at 50, and then nothing after that. Just have it marked up at 150. So it's like, are you trying to like create demand till the next sale happens?
right
Might
until
not be till Black Friday next year.
yeah,
Like I just think that's a little odd. But I guess where I was going is just because it appears it was a good buy, we'll look back 6 months from now to see like the demand for this product, the supply for this product hitting eBay, and like seeing what it's selling for versus what I'm at. Like right now, it doesn't mean anything. Like Blowout changing the prices, the fact that you can't really buy it anywhere except on eBay right now, like the Topps Chrome NPB. I'm guessing that's what happens. Like everybody has them in hand now, so they're undercutting each other. I put a few up at 220, and that caused people to go down to like 210. And I made a point. I'm like, I could sell a bunch at like probably 175, but I don't want to like crash the market on myself because I have so many cases. So I'll just stay at 220 for now, and I'll let other people do that and just see what happens. I'll look
yeah. Well,
back in a month, and I'm
right,
like,
like you
okay,
said,
now we're down to 150. I can live with that.
and with the signing, we'll see how that's affected, depending on where he signs
Exactly.
and how he starts. Yeah, a lot of factors right there. Lucky Peter said he scooped up more 2022 Topps Update hobby and hanger cases.
That's one I missed. So because of my movement to get away, as I said earlier, to get away from flagship, I'm really picky with flagship deals. When I see stuff go down, I just expect in my head, I'm like, next year it's going to be that same price or lower. Like in that, I'm kind of kicking myself because that product was selling strong on eBay. It was holding up 130 plus. Like even after their sale ended, they jumped it up to 120. I'm like, that's not that bad. So I've got the highest, or I did have the highest offer price earlier today on DealerNet because I had a little FOMO or regret from not being able to get any 22 update hobby. And another thing that makes me not buy them is so Peter said he bought hangers. Yeah, exactly. J Rod and Bobby. Hangers are known to be like the best ROI for that product. And it's like clear. Like where like if you can so I don't have a need for hangers because like hangers don't give me packs, but I
Right.
bought like a few cases anyways. I ended up selling one. I still have like probably like 50 or so. But like me knowing that like the hobby box isn't as good, it's probably still better than jumbo at 175. But is it really better than like hangers that are under $20? Like I don't know, but I should have just looked at it just like independently. Is the hobby box at 100 a good price or not? And if I don't buy one, like what's going to be, how much am I going to have to pay 3, 4 months from now when there's buzz and or J Ride and Wit later in the year, maybe end up repeating and building on what they did this past year. Um, because one of the nice things about 22 update is you don't have Wander wasn't really like, you didn't lose any value from that. You lost rookie debuts, right?
Right.
Like maybe in Chrome update he had autographs, so it like would have hurt a little bit. But like update, that's another thing. Update is so much better than Chrome update because they killed that product and they made it hobby, but it wasn't really even like a hobby product. There were like no parallels in it. It was terrible. Like that was one that I regret buying. I bought a few cases of that. That was like, as we talked about, I was in your comment section. It was like $42, $43 a box if you bought the case.
It's so cheap. That's so cheap. It's
But for a reason.
yep.
And you were comparing it to, I think, 23 Topps Chrome update, which some people don't like, but that should sell for double, at least double 22, just based off of what you're pulling. And I know you get a stronger checklist. The quality control's whack, but I don't know. I've watched some openings of 23 Chrome update that have been half decent. In 22 Chrome update, there's no good openings, like literally none.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes out next Black Friday next year, what they have left, what we see if they have any more 2018 update.
Yeah, 2018 update blasters, another one that's now back up to 220. My friend, so I know a guy, not going to mention who he is, who maybe over leveraged himself a little bit. He won't be watching this video, so I can probably explain some details. But he had this money that he probably shouldn't have taken from the bank, and then he used it to buy update blasters, and those cost like $225 at the time. And this was like peak Ohtani, July, August. And at the time, I'm thinking like, like that's an okay price, like based on Ohtani, where he's at and where the market's currently at. But like, I wouldn't pay $225 personally, even if I needed the product, which I do need for my customers. I like to buy that product often. And then it drops to $150 in like the first few weeks of November, and then it drops to $100. It's like a real kick in the nuts. So at that point, I'm like, I don't want him to spend any more money in cards, but I've got to like let him know that like, hey, these are available at 100.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning when that happened. Fortunately, he missed the message till like days later, and he's complaining to me. They're at 150 right now, and I'm like, no, they're at 100 yesterday actually. Yeah, I picked up a bunch.
I thought it was going to cost average down when they got to 100.
Yeah, and the thing is like, it's not good when there's multiple SKUs that are all discounted. Like this is a reason not to go in because it's just more SKUs working against each other. 2017 football, we saw that last year with like all the retail SKUs, Optic and Don Russ for Mahomes. Like it's all on sale. Like I don't know which one to buy. And this year it was probably mostly just hangers and blasters, but still, that's still two different retail SKUs. They made a lot of 5 years later. Why do they still have so much of this stuff? Like, how much of this is really printed? Because it sure seems like a hell of a lot more than 2019 and 2020.
Well, yeah, and that was supposed to be 2018 was kind of supposed to be the last of the reasonable print runs, right? Before it really got ramped up in 19 and 20. But when you look back at it, I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah, it depends on the product. Like Series 1, 2017 was probably the last year, and then big jump up again in from 2019 to 2020. Because like I think what would have caused it would have been like Aaron Judge in 2017, and then in 2018 it's printed a whole lot more. Like we could have made more from that. And then in Topps Chrome, the big jump was probably 18 to 19. And then again in 21. In 21, they jumped the number of autograph subjects by like 1.6x. And then in 2022, the home of the rookie autograph product became the home of an everything autograph product. You had the same autograph checklist, but you were getting non-rookies, a lot of them. And then, of course, we know how they messed up that release too, outside of that. But yeah, man, I'm just fortunate. We're in a Fanatics world, Fanatics monopoly, and we're not in a Panini world right now because we're baseball guys.
Yeah,
and that'll change, of course, for them. But
Yeah, you wonder when they get all the licenses what they're going to do. I can only imagine. There's a lot of opportunity for great things, but there's also a lot of opportunity to really just flood everything.
Yeah,
Flood.
I was talking to Scott last night, and he was saying how Topps Definitive now has RPAs that are game used autographs or game used patches with on card autographs. Like that combination, I don't think they've had before. And saying that this could cannibalize Dynasty because he was looking into like a Dynasty potential
Yeah.
purchase, as you probably know. And just like, long term, like thinking like, how is like the MLB debut patch in Dynasty and Topps Definitive and all this other stuff that they do and improve upon new cards? Like, how is that all going to work itself out? Like, it's just another reason to just buy the boring Bowman Chrome autograph color.
Yeah.
It might not be the sexiest card at the end of the day with all these like new cool things they're coming out with. Um, you might not like the airbrush uniform. You might not even collect non-rookies. Might not like Bowman stuff, but it just seems like playing sometimes is just the best decision, even if it's not the most fun thing to do. Um, then again, it might not be fun because they still also cost quite a bit of money. So you were saying on the podcast, Spitballing podcast, that a lot of players haven't come down in price, haven't fallen. We're talking about like the weakness that is usually November. So I'm guessing you're talking about like Bowman Chrome autograph parallels of guys like Juan Soto, J Rod, guys that have already taken a 50 to 60% haircut this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping for a few more Soto buying opportunities, and I thought I would get it with all the I don't know, all the bashing he's been taking about how he's not that good, but it doesn't seem like his prices, especially of what we're talking about. Yeah, his all the common base stuff and his many, even though he has fewer than others, even his many rookie cards have been dropping, but the ones I'm looking for just really aren't.
Yeah, I've been getting outbid on a lot of Acuna Bowman Chrome autograph stuff. So
Oh,
forced me to buy this stupid pajama card.
hey, look at that patch.
It's not even a real card, never mind a real patch. But that's supposed to be Acuna. You can't tell because that uniform looks like it's from like 1880. But I'm trying to get creative because I think everybody's going towards, especially with the way the card market in general is trending down. Maybe people's economic situations, I don't know. Some and people are trying to be a little bit safer with like if I get stuck with this, like at least like the Bowman Chrome autograph like might have a decent floor to it. So it's forced me because of that competition on guys like Acuna. I've seen it with Soto too. I've been out sniped a bunch. Like I'm like, okay, what can I get like in this window of time? And with Soto, that window of time might be very small if he ends up going to the Yankees soon.
For sure.
Or yeah, maybe that doesn't help his prices. I don't know. But I think it would probably at least in the short term. And then with Acuna, you got a longer window, and maybe his prices don't go up because at the end of the day, you're still buying into a guy that a lot of speculator money is invested into. And I was trying to break this down with somebody I was talking to on the phone the other day. Like the reason why Aaron Judge went nuclear in 2022 was because like he went 5 years
Right.
between like prolific seasons. So at
That's
that
a
point,
huge long gone for sure. Oh, we froze up, Phil. Are you still there, or did I freeze up? Uh-oh. All right. Can anybody still see us? Anybody still see us? Um, all right. I think we're frozen, so maybe that means it's a good time to end. Okay. Lucky Peter said Phil froze. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Maybe it was just we reached our time limit of talking about Bowman Chrome cards or any sort of wax. But that's good because we've been going a long time. So Phil, thank you very much for joining us, Phil. We appreciate. You're going to have you come back again soon to continue this conversation. But yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Hopefully, you guys got to join us. I'd love to know if anybody in the chat is going to be ripping Bowman Chrome Draft. As I said at the beginning to Phil, uh, Yeah, Phil reached his time limit. We couldn't afford to pay him anymore. Once that money ran out, he just got cut. Uh, yeah, so as I mentioned to Phil, this might be the first year where I'm actually not opening any. Hopefully, I will get a chance to open a box. Oh, Phil says battery died. No worries. Thank you very much for all the time and information you gave us. Um, but yeah, I love the product and I'd love to open one, but the prices just seem to be getting so high at about $600 for a box. That's a lot of opportunity cost that you could be spending on other things, both in life and other cards if you want. So, anyways, we're gonna wrap it up there. Unier, yes, yes. Phil deserves to be paid, and I should have paid him more so we could stay past the 70-minute mark. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Chris will be back from his world tour by next week, and we can find out if he's found any of the newest young phenom to join Major League Baseball next year. Maybe he has, maybe he's gotten in early. Oh, Lucky Peter, you're going to try it for a case to flip. Yes, well, let us know how that goes. That's awesome. If you can still get a case for a decent price, let us know. Thanks everybody for joining us. Please like and subscribe, comment down below, let us know what you'd like to talk about, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Kyle.